Hello, beautiful stars. How are we? Happy December. This is a Hey You episode, and I am Courtney, host of Stars of the Morning Light. So, this episode is going to discuss the argument. I have arguments, folks, as to demonstrating, talking about the awesome power and magic of December in the Northern Hemisphere. So, this is truly a hey, you in the Northern Hemisphere. um, I released, I think last month, a video to the patrons of Stars of Morning Light as to an argument towards no, the Christ consciousness was definitely born in December. Let me tell you why. Da 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 da. Now, this video is not necessarily going to be detailed in that fashion and in that context. That might, though, pop up a little bit at the end. Because there is an argument out there right now that the Christ consciousness might have been born in the springtime, around the spring equinox. That would not be correct. If anything, conceived in the spring equinox, yeah, definitely. So, let's talk about December. It is the most powerful, most magical, most paranormal, supernatural month of the entire year for us who live in the Northern Hemisphere. It is not October, beloveds. Before I really begin, a lot of people I see out there, posts and dialogue with others, especially here on maybe YouTube or what have you, other podcasts, that a lot of complaining about all the all the stuff of December, based around the holiday, the consumerism, the music, the decorations, the this, the that, right? Regardless of if it may trigger trauma from your childhood or sadness within, I want to express to heal that, but also if we don't like something, then we don't participate in it, right? Oftentimes those who complain is because they're doing something against themselves via obligation or social pressures or society norms, whatever it may be. Well, then don't engage. You have that permission. Give yourself that permission. You don't have to. That leads to more of your authenticity when we stop doing the things that don't make us happy. And of course, yes, if you go into the stores now, the music will be playing. The everything will be red and green for some reason, which is always fascinating to me because on the color wheel, red and green are the most strongest colors that when meshed together, put together, especially those particular red and green, causes agitation within humans. Those colors do not go together. It's kind of fascinating that they're everywhere right now. Um, they they cause agitation. That's why, little fun fact, the Freddy Krueger shirt sweater that he was wearing, not so much for the festive reason, right? With his backstory, it was actually more so to cause agitation to us as to why he was in red and green stripes. It was really originally to cause the viewer more agitation. So, that's a little fun note. With that being said, okay, there's a lot of things out there that if we don't like it, then don't participate. Let us not complain. I'm going to speak on a personal note for a moment before I really go into the argument for the power of December. Many of you viewers here, the patrons of Stars of the Morning Light, know more so. I might have brought it up periodically when stuff was going on. But they know more so because I try to amplify being a living example, demonstration, manifestation of life of the 3D living is everything is a perfect opportunity to practice compassion for self and others, to be our authentic self, to trust without limits, right? I am that demonstration for others and more so with them. So I speak about more personal matters with that community, along with the education, like I just said, of videos shared of, hey, let us not have random arguments out there without being educated on the culture and the time. So, and a bunch of good stuff out there. So, consider joining $5 a month. You get 2 classes a month, or you get a class a month and a gathering now once a month with some extra Q&A and tools that can be used. 2025 within my household, beloveds, was rough. It was rough for the third dimensional living experience. Anything and everything that could possibly happen happened. It happened. Um, to the point, and I shouldn't say everything, right? But to the extremes, right? And so I'm going to list some highlights because it's going to bring me into the power of December. My 2025 in this household started with, in January, a very significant death in the family. My mother lost her partner of 30 years. Very significant death. Which then led to me traveling a lot and a lot of mishaps with traveling. Like I'm in an airport for 16 hours. I mean, a lot of stuff was going on. That then led to financial issues to the point of like IRS coming at us for something that was not there from 20 years ago. Like a fallacy, but they still came and they still took. To then my husband losing his job. Jeez, it's been a year. To my husband losing his job, which, beloveds, I don't make much money. He is the provider. To, uh, he lost his job. Then to massive repairs for the household, as in our living room ceiling caved in. So roof and foundation work needed, all sorts of stuff. To then both of us without a car because my husband got sideswiped by a semi. And as he's using my car to get around, also my motor blew because Kia put in shoddy motors in the vehicle that I own. So then trickled into a great many other things of just all these little things, right? In the midst of all this. So pretty much everything that could happen, and I shouldn't say everything as I say, but that was 2025. That was 2025 for us. Every month there was a very large, significant 3D happening. I bring this up because of mindset. I'm never angry at 3D. I mean, I have pockets of time of frustration and worn out, right? As we all do. But I'm never really angry at third dimensional living experience, the world of judgment, the world of pain, right? I'm never actually resentful towards it because it does its job greatly. I mean, it's really good at its job. It's really good at throwing that stuff at us. It's really good at, especially this time of the year, consumer. feeling bad, lonely. I can't keep up with the Joneses. This world is running me ragged. I'm running, I'm doing. I can't handle all of this. That is its job. But if we have a different mindset, it can lead to living through it and then living outside of it much more so. I will tell you, at the onset of the new year of 2025, I did put it out there into the universe that all things 3D related that need to be finished and settled, fixed, healed, what have you, bring it. All things that need to be settled. So my 2026, as it is going to be a profound year for all of the collective in various ways, I would encourage everyone to be here December 26th at noon Eastern Time for the Akashic Yearly 2026 message. I knew what 2026 was, so I said, you know what, universe, I give you 2025. I give you this year. Give me what you got that needs to be finished and fixed and healed. Do it. Do it. Because I knew that I had the right appropriate mindset to be able to handle that. And then it happened. Many of us actually invite that sort of thing into our life based on a different kind of mindset. Based on the obsessive mind of always complaining and always worrying and always fearful, always a victim mindset. That we invite it more in because what we think about comes to us. I invited it in, consciously aware I can get through this. Because I know I trust without limits. I love without limits. I am my authentic self. I am the one requesting this. Now, did I know how that would all look and how it would all play out? No, I didn't know all the little details. But I knew Brad would lose his job. I knew that my stepdad would die. I knew some others. I knew the ceiling was going to probably cave in. I knew there was vast issues within the household that needed to be fixed. So, with that being said, at this time of year, if we just shift our mindset a little bit more, and what we don't want to engage in, we don't engage in. And what we find worrisome, annoying, fearful, painful, maybe we can put on a new set of glasses, a new set of eyes to view it a bit differently. And trust. And trust. And the reason I bring up like the difference between October and December, because this is all going to play into itself, right? It's all going to be within one theme. And beloveds, please understand, as like the scene would teach, all energy will dissolve into itself if we don't pay attention to it. That goes for all things. All energy will dissolve into itself when we stop viewing it, stop participating in it. Or if we shift our mindset it'll dissolve to become something anew. So all of that stuff that happened in 2025, because of my mindset, oh, it happened. Was it fixed? Was it healed? Was it handled? Was it loved? Was it trusted? Yes. It dissolved into itself and has given such great resources, protection, hope, wonder, great healing. So please bear that in mind. When I listen to people's comments, and especially those that really seem to detest December, I mean, there's many people that are just, they very much detest it. Fascinating to me, because why I say this is when I view them and perceive them, they are much more on, let's say they appreciate October much more for the whimsical, magical, witchy nature of October. Which leads me to think that they know nothing about the power of December. That they detest December because of what is projected, because of what society and corporations and the programming wants you to believe of December, which then led me to believe nobody knows about December. That nobody knows the awesome, magical, supernatural phenomenon that is December. It's the most magical, powerful month of the entire year for those in the northern hemisphere. For those in the southern hemisphere, it's August and October. So I get it. In the northern hemisphere, October is the month that begins the build into the power of December. It's fascinating to me that it means to me that many people out there are actually still basing their ideas and thoughts and perceptions on the programming that has them hating December but loving October for the opposite reasons. Oy. So, let's talk about the argument for the power of December. December is phenomenally the most spiritual, supernatural. You want to talk to your ancestors? It's this month. Yeah, all of it, all of it. And here you go, beloveds. Here's a little fun tidbit too. And this came out of the class I did with the patrons. Friday, every Friday of a week is a representation energetically. Friday night, when the sun goes down, every Friday night is a representation of every December. Did you know that? Friday night is the most supernatural world or time period of our week. Friday night is the most supernatural active time of each week. That is also a representation of the month of December in the northern hemisphere. December's magic. December's magic. It is when all creativity comes to life. It's when all of your hopes can be seeded and planted and be birthed. It is when, if you, like I said, if you want to connect with ancestors, now's your time. Now's your very authentic time. And maybe I'll do a video on the magnitude of August and October within the southern hemisphere, because that's a different energy. I love that we all kind of mix things up now, especially because of the flip of the poles. We're all going to be sharing in culture, traditions, experiences, and it'll be lovely and energies, right? But as of right now, in the northern hemisphere, December is still that. All stories come to life. All creativity and imagination is there to create, create, create. All supernatural. And I mean all supernatural. When people talk about the veil, uh, in December, it comes down big time. It comes down big time. All huge, anything that is a big blessing phenomenon of miracle or tragic can happen in December, right? All sorts of huge things can happen in December. It is the most magical, supernatural, everything's walking around, everything's present. You are a creator. It is the most creative time period. Get it on paper, get it on canvas, get it written down, all your hopes and dreams and beliefs of a new great life for you. December equips us when we get through it because of our mindset of how we're going to view things. When we get through December, it equips us for all the things that will be needed in the darkness of the January and the February and into, let's really get these seeds planted in the spring. It equips us with all of it. That is the representation of Yule, of the winter solstice, of the light is always present no matter how dark it is. This is why, beloveds, yes, traditionally, way back when, many moons ago, we would try, us women, try to get pregnant around the spring equinox. And our last chance, really, for what we would love to hit for our target would have been Beltane, May Day. And it's a very powerful holiday. I love Beltane. But for the humans, society, humanity, that was traditionally, yeah, we need to plant that seed. We need to get pregnant. And now in today's world, we would go, why the hell would we do that? Because that would mean if we got pregnant around the spring, within those months, the spring equinox, somewhere within Beltane, that means we're going to have a child in December and or January. Why would we do that? You want to know why we would do that? Because everyone is inside and home. We would actually have those winter months of darkness that everybody's there to actually help us. Instead of our men, our kids, our family going out to hunt, going out to fight, going out to do all this stuff that needs to be done, they would be home because it's cold. And they can go out and get the firewood. They can go out and tend to the animals. They can go out and graze and get food, all the gathering. They can do that while we can be huddled and holding that new baby. It was very set and planned. Everyone would be together. Resources would have already been stored and established. Families, tribes, groups would be together to help those babies thrive. But in today's world, In today's world, we don't see it that way anymore. We don't operate that way anymore. And the baby's born in December. Wonderful, beautiful, kind of right on time to be that new light in a tribe, in a community, in a family. So that's just a little bit of an argument for, I do believe the Christ consciousness came into a body of form, born in December. Probably not on exactly the 25th, probably more, whatever the winter solstice was, because that is the representation of the light that can carry you through all darkness. The light that can carry you through all darkness. And here's another little fun fact, and this is my humble opinion. I do believe that based on the story, which there's a lot of elements to that story, I'm not going to go into it here, but based on that story, I do believe that it happened on a Friday night. Because what most people might not know is that in Jewish customs, traditions given to them by their God, they are not allowed to have fire on Friday night. They are not allowed to have fire on Friday night. The most supernatural night of the week. And so the concept of there was no place for them to, all the inns were taken up, everything was, nothing was available for them. It still meant that they had to get indoors because they were not allowed to have fire. So, being born in a barn, they were indoors. Because if this was the springtime, they would have just been outside. They would have just been outside. Without fire. But, because it was winter, and everything was taken, all the rooms were taken because it's Friday night, so everybody has to be indoors. Because they're not allowed to have fire. Well, and traveling with a pregnant woman takes a long time, so yeah, they got there late. There's a lot of little elements to that story. From cosmic to customs and traditions that people may not be aware of. That would play into the circumstances at hand. And all of the information that came through from the scene. The tribe of people that Christ was born into. From a very, very most powerful woman, the first Mary. The counterpart to her was Mary Magdalene, a very supreme, powerful, feminine being. So with all that being said, light of the world, the light within, that God spark, that flame, the light that can get you through the darkness, from Friday's representation of dark, to the need for light, to December, the winter solstice and representation of this is the representation of light in the world, no matter how dark it gets. To, if you just shift your mindset, you can get through death, loss, 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 loss. If you carry the light. If you know that the light is always present. If you trust that the light is always present. December is the biggest, most powerful month. And everything is going to try to come in to teach for us to choose differently, to choose ourselves, to choose the light, to choose, wow, it's going to get really dark. What are the tools and the skills and the abilities that I need to trust and learn and grow to handle the darkness? It's all a mindset. And unfortunately, oftentimes I witness those who, and it actually goes across the board, anything that most people complain about or are fearful about or have resentments towards. And I'm not talking about personal matters, even though it plays into it. I'm going to talk about just the social norms, how humanity is going, right? Aspects in our life from all the way up to the top, down to the bottom, the hierarchy, the dogmas, all this stuff, right? Most of the time when I hear people speak of their resentments, it's in a line to associating themselves still attached to the dogmas, still attached to these social norms, still attached to the arbitrary obligations, still attached to the hierarchies. And so therefore I do get confused. I really do. Because we associate our anger, resentments, pains, all of it, not because those things don't exist, but we associate it with being attached to it. When December, if we really open our eyes and pay attention to the light filtering through all of it, the awareness coming through of all of it, can give a great sense of protection, peace, joy, masters of creation, authenticity. You are the light, you are the trust, you are the hope, all the I am, the great I am. It can feed that. While we can practice very much detaching from the things that we resent, that apparently we are still associating our emotions and our abilities and our thought patterns and habits to things that we don't like. And we hold them up to those dogmas. We hold them up to those social norms. We hold them up to those mirrors. I don't understand why we're doing that. I really don't understand. When you are a master of creation and this is the month to have fun with it, to envision if the world was really full of magic and I am a creator and I can bring forth anything through my light, what would I bring forth? What story would I tell? What story would I write? How would I change my story? How would I completely lay down what doesn't work for me? How would I disengage and not be attached, especially emotionally, to all the things that agitate me? Your creativity in the light of this month can give you all sorts of answers to that. All sorts of answers to that. That then you can really, in the dark months of January, bit of February, really kind of mull over in your mind like, I was so alive and electric in December, and I knew exactly what I wanted and what I didn't want. The darkness of the northern hemisphere of January is there for you to sit in it, quiet, comfy, hopefully, and hold on to that light and figure out, how do I carry this forward? The world will open up again. The snow will stop. The comings and goings will start to go more. How do I hold on to this light? How do I carry it with me? For the light is always within the darkness. That is creation itself. The light is love, because there is no creation without love. And trust is love, because there is no love without trust. And do I truly love as my authentic self if I keep placating that is not for me? Because of some social dynamic, some dogmas, hierarchy, and that was not designed for my light. How would that look? And that's what we daydream about in January. As we sip our tea and we try to stay comfy. We trust, we trust, we trust. December's so magical, beloveds. It is so very magical. It is our time to think about how we want to rewrite our story as we read all the beautiful creative stories out there, where all of this is just story time. Just story time. This is a great time. I love this time. Story time. As we are master creators that hold the light, that are the light. So, this was not like a detailed, a ton of examples. I do that more with the patrons of Stars of the Morning Light. Consider subscribing. $5 a month gets you a lot of good stuff, folks. And it would get you all of the past curriculum, which, by the way, wow. From the moon manifesting course to all his energy to all of it, to healing. Beloveds, I cannot express to you the value in becoming a Stars of the Morning Light Patreon.com member. The link is in the About section. It's also below in the description. I'm going to put in the description also a series I did last year around this time of Who Are the Magi, because if stuff out of my mouth tonight or today did not make any sense to you, maybe learn a little bit more about the Magi. The scene, the Magi. Who is Mary in the first place, right? Who birthed this being into creation, this consciousness, this seventh dimensional consciousness that can live in a body of form, these carbon bodies here on this earth, and that we can obtain, that we can hold, that we can develop, that we can achieve. Seventh dimensional living experience here on earth, the new earth. But it takes to lay down all the things, all the things, all the things of the third dimensional living experience that we seemingly complain about and worry about and are fearful about it. Lay them down and pick up that light that is December, that will guide you as you evolve and grow and heal. So no matter what happens, you trust, you know, I am the great I am. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. So I did not, like I said, go through all the little details. That is more so for the patrons of Stars of the Morning Light. But I hope that this gave you a bit to think about, a bit to go, whoa, what about Fridays? Whoa, October's the beginning of the build up to the supernatural phenomenon, the great energy that is a mix of all things that have ever could possibly be, the infinite potentialities here are in December. Just pull from them. The veil is open for whatever you want to create and witness. It's all there. It is all there right now. I hope it gave you some food for thought. You enjoyed it. And like I said, beloveds, December 26th at noon Eastern Time, live, Akashic 2026 yearly message. I don't even know what they're going to say, folks, yet. I haven't talked to them. I have no idea. I do know enough about 2026, though, that I've been giving to the patrons a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here. So, beloveds, I will be with you again. Happy holidays. Change the mindset. See with new eyes how magical this can be when we lay down what is not for thee. I love you, beloveds. Cheers.